It's traditional that our service always begins with words from our Bible. And joining over the stream and over Zoom and technically over our phone are Rabbi Weiss and Cantor Schiffman from B'nai Yeshurun along with me. We all share a deep affection for the Bykhovskiy family, for Gennadi in particular. And Cantor Schiffman is going to begin our service chanting the words of Psalm 23. The Cantor is going to lead us now, Psalm 23. Now Rabbi Weiss is going to lead us in Psalm 23.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and do no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord. Amen.
Although we cannot all be standing together here at the graveside, physically holding each other up, still in shock that we are here to lay to rest such a strong and gentle, such a kind and loving man, just 53 years old, who lived so much in those 53 short years, who had so much more planned, anticipated to enjoy the fruits of his endeavors and work and hard work. He was taken from us. We gather today to share words of praise, words of thanks, words of honor, and to be strengthened and supported by recalling our dear Gennadi Bykhovskiy, a beloved son, a beloved brother, a beloved husband, a beloved father, a beloved uncle, and a beloved friend. Today we offer our deepest condolences to Gennadi's family, in particular to his best friend, for the love of his life, to you, Sophie. You just celebrated your 30th wedding anniversary just a few weeks ago. It's impossible to believe that we are here today. We extend our deepest condolences to the apples of his eye and the diamonds in his crown, to Gennadi's children, to Rita and to Isaac, and to Rita's husband, Bobby, who was like another son to Gennadi, to his sister, Dusia and Vlad, to his nieces and nephews, to Marina and Dan, to Alex and Rochelle, to his great nephews, Benjamin and Evan, to the extended family, and to all of us, those that were lucky to be able to call Gennadi friends. Gennadi returns now to his parents of blessed memory, Zalman and Luba, who passed away just a few years ago. And now they are rejoined together in heaven. There's several tributes from the family and close friends. At this point, it's most important to hear from them, to speak from their heart words about our beloved Gennadi. First, I'm going to call upon his niece and nephew, Alex and Marina.
It's impossible to put into the words the tragedy that is our uncle's unexpected and heartbreaking loss. For the last 35 and 39 years, respectively, he's been a part of the fabric of this family. This survived Chernobyl, the immigration to Belarus to America, and the following years of slow and steady progress and struggles that followed. He unrelentingly gave many of his years of his youth to find stability in a foreign country, raise a family with his wife, and carve out a future for both his kids. While he was much younger than my mother, they were both forced to rely heavily on each other to carry the burden of two entire families when we came to the US. For the first 10 years in this country brought uncertainty but progress. The next 10 years brought stability but setbacks. And the last 10 brought some comfort but a lot of pain and losses. And the next 10 were supposed to bring happiness and contentment. That is something he will never get to have.
He was a selfless man who thought his years were consistent and steady. You're actually looking at someone who has the honor of being the first child to annoy him to the core. I would rush into his room early in the morning when he came home from the army and jump on his bed while he was yelling at my grandma, "Mama Zabirio." He taught many of us in the family to drive and left us with a healthy amount of PTSD. His teaching method consisted of yelling a lot in the passenger seat, and I once left him in a parking lot because he felt my parallel parking was not up to par and chose to explain that to me in a very, very loud voice. But no matter what, he was always there. He supported us during the tough times and always showed up during the good ones. If you were a close friend of mine, you knew who my Uncle Gina was. He was there for every holiday, birthday, and family event. Many years ago, he told me that the man who marries me must pass a test where he drinks a bottle of vodka and then walks around an orange cone for 10 times. If he walks straight after that, he's in. Dan didn't pass the test the first year. He was just like his father, my grandfather, skilled with his hands and took pride and joy from doing a job right. He had all the tools to fix everything, and when he did it, he'll make the tools. He always picked up every call, responded to every text. He would get himself out of bed at 8 a.m. on Sunday to help us change the brakes on our cars, even though he had too good of a time with his friends the night before. When times were tough and I was not strong enough to handle it, he would say, "Manka," one of 3 people in the world to call me that. "Pull yourself together. That's life." Over the last 5 years, He was probably the only reason my mom could handle the care and passing of their parents. He was tireless and consistent, and without him carrying half of the burden, my mother would not have been able to do it. When no one at the hospital or Montefiore could pronounce their names, they called themselves Greg and Donna. Last year, when he ended up in the hospital for a day, we implemented the Greg and Donna protocol. Jim, sorry, I forgot now. Jim and Donna protocol, where we alerted all the nurses that he's sure to be ornery and does not speak English, so they're to speak loudly and slowly to him. Everybody will remember my uncle in the same way, with a smile, the life of the party, and a good family man.
After seeing the drawn-out pain and suffering his parents went through over the last 5 years, he spared us all the drawn-out pain and left us in mere minutes with an indelible fear in the fabric of the family. We will mourn him, but we will never heal from this. Time may dull the pain, but will not make the fact that he isn't here less real. And every one of us that has had our own unique connection with him will grieve and reflect in our own way. The last text to me on Wednesday, he jokingly said, "Lyosha, I just don't have any good luck," with a laughing, crying emoji. I can't tell you my response to him back, since my mother and fiance wouldn't approve. How bitterly piercing and unfortunately true his last words ring today. I think in reality, he was an unbelievably lucky man who had a beautiful wife, loving kids, a stable family that afforded him the little pleasures in life. If he was here, I'm sure he would crack a joke, tell us it'll be all okay, because this is life. He was a man that for the last 53 years had to do that himself. Get the right tools, make the right tools, figure it out. We owe it to him to not to try to rationalize or understand it. For each of us, will have a different experience. Gina, you will be missed more than you ever say today, and these have been officially the hardest days of our lives. Lastly, to his kids and wife, we have always been one family, and we will always be one family. That will never change, and we owe it to him to slowly repair the tear of his loss. With time, we will all find ourselves all together, where we will sit and commiserate over a 100 gram or a full bottle and tell the stories of our lives. We must continue to live the life to the fullest like he wanted, because that's what he worked tirelessly for. We love you, we miss you, and this will never stop hurting.
Next, we'll call the very close family friend, Natalie.
Guys, I do not have speech prepared. Nothing can prepare you to this. In our lives, Gena and Sofa are the closest we have to the family. And we never knew a person what is more smart as Gena, I cannot say was, as Gena is. It was always our common sense. We know Gena and Sofa for 27 years. We lived together through such a hardship, and we were able to share moments that were lighter. But now, I do not know, Gena, what have you done? Because you left such a void with your friends. I cannot even imagine the pain and void which you live with your family. And that will never go away, and there is no explanation to that. The only thing to promise you, Gena, and you, Sofa, that for as long as we live, we will be here for you, for as much as you allow us. And I know for myself for sure, I learned so much from Gena. Though my husband and I always thought we are older, we thought that you guys will be taking care of us when we are old and we cannot move around. I couldn't even imagine in my worst nightmares being here. So I promise Gena that each and every decision in our life will be run by you. And we will hear your voice and we will continue loving you forever. And so far, we are with you for as much as you want, as much as you need, and as much as is allowed. Thank you.
Hey, watching?
Yep. And now we'll call upon
Who are those?
Frida, Gennadi's daughter. And please, those who are on the live stream, please mute yourself.
I never in a million years thought I would be standing here so early laying my dad to rest. But I have a few words for him. My beloved, dear, selfless Papa, my heart and soul has broken into a million pieces. You were taken from us too soon, and there is so much more in our lives that I needed you to see and be part of. But I find comfort knowing that you are forever with me, watching over. You are our human shield, protector of everything bad and uncomfortable in life. You took everything upon yourself, never once asking for help. You are our rock, our sense of reason, our #1 fan, and first phone call. Isaac and I are so lucky to have you as a papa. Isaac has your personality, thoughtful, stoic, intelligent. I, on the other hand, was the emotional one. When I was a little girl, I was always afraid to leave my parents. I don't know why, they were always there with me, but I hated going to school. I had such anxiety, and for 15 years, my dad drove me to Hebrew school Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And one Thursday, he took me to Hebrew school, and I will never forget this moment. And there was a huge snowstorm. And they told all the kids, they said, your parents aren't going to come pick you up, but it's going to be okay. They said, it's really bad outside, but we got you taken care of. Everything's going to be okay. And I just started worrying. And I stood by the door, and then all of a sudden, I see the headlights coming near the temple. And it was my dad coming to get me. And I ran to the car, and I opened the door, and he had tears in his eyes. And he said, Ritachka, я тебя никогда не оставлю. He said, Rita, I will never leave you. And I know he will be with me always. You instilled great values in us. The importance of Judaism, family, hard work. The 4 of us did everything together. Thursday were our traditions. It was grocery shopping day. All 4 of us would be like 4 ducks in a row at a store. And the usual grocery shopper workers would always greet us and ask us how our week was. They would wait for us on Thursdays. Then a few years ago, you welcomed Bobby to the family. And my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen him smile so hard when I brought a friend home. He loved you deeply, and he would tell me constantly that we are a perfect match. He always said how lucky we were that we had each other, and how great it was that I married into such a loving family. He loved Rob and Ron, Allie, and Rita very deeply. Although Bob nearly isn't as handy as my dad, he's taught him a lot, from carrying our dryer down a flight of steps, fixing my side mirror twice in my car because I drive out carelessly in a rush to get to work, or catching a bird that flew down our chimney and Bob ran upstairs to hide. My dad did everything. He was my hero. His presence just lit up the room. His jokes put a smile on everyone's face and just put everyone to ease. We have so many memories together that I will cherish forever. He was the most selfless person on the planet, a great friend, co-worker. I know his life wasn't easy, and he never showed it. Moving to America with my mom, the love of his life, at such a young age, with nothing. Working constantly so that we have the best life possible. He did everything for us. They built such a beautiful home together. And he did everything by hand. You taught Isaac and I the importance of hard work and the simple concept of family first. Everything I've accomplished in this life, I owe to you, Dad. Isaac and I have so much left to accomplish, and we will live every day for you. Papa, watch over us. We love you so much. You will be with us through everything. Marriage, grandkids, graduation, and everything in between. We love you.
The final speaker is Gennadi's son, Isaac.
My dad, as I think anyone that knows me and knows him, was my best friend. In many ways, he was my only friend. I called him with every question I had. I talked to him every single day, and he was always there for me. And I don't know how I will ever be able to repay him for all of that. He had an incredibly difficult life. When he was young, he wasn't a particularly healthy young boy, as my aunt likes to say. When he turned 18, he got sent off to the army, which, for those of you that don't know, being in Russia and being Jewish, and being in the army is the worst thing that can happen to you. And immediately after that, when he was basically the same age that I am now, he picked up two families, his grandparents and my grandparents, and brought them over to America. He built everything that we have. He gave us everything that we own, and he's taught us everything that we know. My dad always says, "Живые живут," which means the living live. And that is our duty, our family's duty, and my duty to continue that on. My dad always liked to laugh. For him, death was difficult. It plagued our family, but it never stopped him. I'll never forget at both of our grandparents' funerals, Yuba and Zalma. He was in shock, he was in tears, he was torn apart, and my dad and I still had the capacity to laugh and to make a joke and to find something funny with the situation that can push us through it and make sure that we will always stay together and we will be okay. And he stuck together for everyone, and he made sure everyone was okay. Marina and Alex always like to joke that my dad told them that if they were ever in jail, that he is the first person that they need to call. What I think is amazing is my dad told me the same thing. And I know that he wasn't kidding. He wouldn't have been mad. He would have helped me. He would have talked me through the situation the same way that he's talked me through everything else. Bob, I know that he loved you as much as he loved me and Rita from the very first moment that he met you. I remember when you came to our house to take Rita to the airport. I think she was going to Israel. Wherever she was going, you came to pick her up. I came out of the bathroom. I washed my hands. I didn't dry them. And I immediately went to go shake your hand. I saw the look of disgust in your eyes. And you played it off. And I think only two people caught it. It was me and my dad. Because you left and he looked at me and he said, "Что ты сделал? What did you do to him?" And I said, "Well, my hands were wet and I just wanted to go shake his hand." Did he say anything? No, Bob didn't say anything. And my dad loved that you didn't say anything. You powered through it.
And he respected that. And to Rita, the relationship that we had with Dad was very different. And I think you know that Dad loved both of us equally. He always protected us equally. Dad always gave his softer side to you, and he was always more rough with me. And that was a loving relationship that we had. Everyone knows that my dad and I bickered. Everyone knows that my dad and I were two very strong personalities. And I was never, ever worried. I was never worried that I have to hold myself back against my father, that my father will love me any less anytime I have something to say, and that my father will always, always be there for me. And my dad carries on. He has always carried on with more than a smile on his face, because he didn't pretend. He absolutely meant it. He meant it 100% of the way. So day in and day out, I don't know what I'm going to do when I can't share some ridiculous joke with him, but I can't share an article or a YouTube video with him as I did every single day. But what I do know is that my dad equipped all of us with the tools to not just pretend that we are okay. He didn't just build a base for us that we have to pick at. He taught every single one of us how to push ourselves forward, how to do it the right way, how to do it and stay happy, and how to have everyone's back along the way. I cannot think of a better gift for a father to give his kids and his family, his extended family and his friends, than the courage and the ability to push on, to be confident, and to stay strong, and to learn how to be happy along the way. Dad, we love you so much, more than any of us could ever say. But we are so thankful, so unbelievably thankful that you taught us how to do all of this, and that you left us to feel confident, and we could never ask for anything else from you.
These are the most important tributes today. Words more than just from the hearts, words from love. Selfless and giving, the rock of the family. Respected, loved, strong, and strong-willed. He just made everything look easy, without having an easy life. He was gracious. He loved it when he could provide for you, when he could be with you, protect you, and help you. When you turned to for advice, when you needed anything, when you were in doubt or you just needed to talk. When you needed to move, Gennadi moved it all by himself. When there was a leak, Gennadi fixed it all by himself. When you had Gennadi, he'd do it better than anyone else. A hard worker. More than that, he was simply wonderful. A good neshama, a kind and gentle soul. The most wonderful father, husband, brother, son, uncle, and friend. Born and raised in Mechitsa, life was difficult, as you said, living a life of adversity. He was the second born, 11 years younger than his sister Dusia. Raised mostly by your grandparents, Bracha and Yitzchak, in a Yiddish-speaking home with strong Jewish values. He didn't go to preschool or kindergarten back then. He was raised by the grandparents, raised with those strong Jewish values. And he carried on that legacy of importance of Judaism in his family at his home. Dush, you told me that when your brother was little, he was very funny and cute. That he'd always play pranks on you and joke with you. But when he came home from the army, you told me he matured fast. And he also became your protector. The one that you could depend on. The uncle that your children could always lean on and ask for help. Gennadi met his beloved Sophie at a party. Sophie, you told me that Gennadi took a chair and he placed it right next to you. He never moved it that whole night, by your side, having so much fun together that night. And as we say, the rest is history. Married on August 18th, 1990, 30 years ago. You told me you married your best friend. That you two were truly in love, and he gave you the two best children in the world. Sophie, you told me that from seeing him that first night at the party, you knew he was the one that you would marry. His smile, his kindness, his intelligence, his charisma, his fun jokes, his character, his handsome appearance, and his presence. He commanded the room. Everyone loved him. Everyone wanted to be with him. So kind, warm, and funny to all. He was your everything. He truly loved you, and you literally traveled across the world together. On October 15th, 1992, the family immigrated to the United States, 11 of you. 4 generations together, including the newest baby, Rita. Gennadi and Sophie and the family, baby parents, Lucia and her family, grandparents, safely moving here to Cleveland to begin a new life. And you told me, Sophie, every Sunday, Gennadi would make breakfast for you. That was his ritual, his way of showing how much he loved you. If we were truly going to talk about the most important of Gennadi's part of his life, it was as a father. You heard it from Isaac and Rita. I'm not going to rehash it, but just to say that he would drop everything to be with you, to drive you, to help you, and he grounded you, not in a punishing way. He was a grounding presence, a rock and a stabilizer. A bit strict, you told me, everything had to be according to his way, but he was right. And education was the highest priority for him. He wanted you to have safe, common sense, and also to be well educated. He took great pride in both of your accomplishments. He felt and had such nachas, Isaac, as you moved out to Chicago and established yourself in your career. And Rita, as you also continued with your education and your own professional career. And of course, as you said, welcoming Bobby into the family. And I can say that myself because I had the pleasure of being under the chuppah with you just a few years ago, as you two were married. And seeing Gennadi's smile, I can still see it today. Oh my God, how happy he was at that moment to know that you had the one that you were going to spend the rest of your life with. He loved it and always did. For Dusia and her family, you always remain so close. We heard that already from Alex and Marina and the whole family. Gennadi was an exemplary employee at Alloy Bellows, a well-respected mechanical engineer. He never missed a single day, never showed up late to work, never said no to anything. And somehow working this full-time job, he always had time for everyone. He always went to work with a smile, made everything look so easy, always gracious. An incredible friend and life of the party, his smile, jokes, and kindness and selflessness were there. Gennadi has truly left a lasting legacy. In those words of wisdom, which Rita and Isaac said, family first, work hard, be there for each other. We are all still in shock, so unexpected. A life taken too early, so fast from us. It's very hard to be here, to say goodbye to such a good man. But we'll always remember his smile, his life lessons, his kind heart, the joy that he took from each and every one of you. He lived for you, he lived through you, and now we will live for him. May his name always bring blessings. Always say, Amen. We're going to pause at this point as the cemetery staff is going to lower the casket into the grave. And then I'll do the first shoveling, and then the first circle of family will do the shoveling. Then we'll gather for our final prayers, and then all other friends and family here will participate in the shoveling. As the casket's being lowered, I'll just make a note. The family is hosting a Shiva today from 5 to 8 at the home, 592 Rutland Drive in Highland Heights, as well tomorrow, Wednesday, from 3 to 5. Those who wish to contribute in Gennadi's memory, We do so through JFSA. Yoshe Basete and Basete that the Namado. Atsortamin kopolo kirodra kamishpat elemana binagot sadiki asheru. Atsortamin bakopoma yamalot kipoma shalika matema militum kayema richo. The ya atsortamin makoma semi amala mata so mervio sekasakina manuta sebutkuta nekatka sakshi babase. Sadik bakota kabatsortamin marakapamo alakamim. Lamona vechusna al avoduvanim kibachadona sika parakamim. Sadika Tarana Pakayot Ashabia Kapitan Karukot, Hila Kazikanelintos, Yakabra Sukot, Kilakadala Kimi Basiko, Tadami Menshana here, Walapsani here, Maitron Lokalo Haya, Arotayana, Bemitumekaya, Parokuki Amatino, Mashoteta Kobino, Mashalega, Mashponabadino, Kolish Modaya, Yitinu, Yadam. Yeah, I know I don't like to put it. That's like you touch your heart, but you start to shut the heart in our real family. That's to be better. And I get family started. I am in that something to the fear that I look to the end and that the coming shut up to the fear and that just the idea that that I know you mean that I came up with us and that there's another mother and that is all nice of the other way. We're not going to go talk today. Dark people, I think we should stop the second in the lot. This point, the first circle of family are going to form the mitzvah of shoveling our yes.
Please sit. Oh, Fabio. You
I'm going to pause now to recite the memorial prayer in the Kaddish. Those that are seated, please rise. Following that, anyone else that wants to participate in the mitzvah of shoveling, please come forward to show your respects to Gennadi. I'm going to, at this point, call upon Cantor Schiffman to recite the El Mali memorial prayer. Thank you, Cantor Schiffman and Rabbi Weiss. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite presence in your sheltering, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, the soul of our beloved Gershon, Gennadi, Genyad, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that a loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May he merit the reward for living a life filled with kindness, filled with love, filled with graciousness. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And we say, Amen. At this point, we're going to ask for the family to join in reciting the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabo, Yalma, Dibrak, Yirate, Yamlik, Malkute, Bechayekon, Avyomekon, Avakaye, the call Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Bisman, Kari, Bimru, Amen. Yehesh, Me, Rabam, Mevorat, Yalam, Ola, Mehomaya. Yitbarak, Vishtabak, Yitpa'ar, Yitramam, Yitkase, Yittadar, Yittalev, Yithalal, Shemei de Grishabriyu. Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechamata, Da'amiran V'Yolama V'Yimru. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'Yolko Yisrael V'Yimru. Oseh Shalom V'Mama, U'Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Yolko Yisrael V'Yimru. As we lay to rest Gennadi here, beside his parents of blessed memory, we know that God has implanted us both a body and a soul. We lay his body to rest here, but the soul that God has implanted within us is eternal. And that soul is making its way to heaven, rejoining his parents. We also believe that the soul lives on, that from heaven, Gennadi is still able to look down upon us, to guide us, to protect us, to teach us. May he be beside God's throne, whispering to God to bring blessings to his family, to his children, to his wife, his sister, and to all of us. May we still feel his presence in our lives, in all that we do. May we carry him on so that his name continues to bring blessings. And we say, Amen. This concludes our formal part of our ceremony. At this point, we're going to ask for all the friends and extended family here that want to participate in the shoveling to come forward and to place earth upon the casket, and the family that wants to continue that if you'd like. And other than that, this concludes our service.